Hello, you join us today here in sunny Felixstowe, and it's glorious out there. In fact, most days it is, isn't it?
It is, but it's going to be the hottest day today of the year.
And Emma, isn't it good?
Yeah.
And you may recognise this young lady to my right, your left. It's Ruth Dugdall, is that correct pronunciation?
I don't care how people say it, really.
Providing we got Ruth in there. Now, you may sort of think, I know that face. In fact, you might actually recognise the building we're in, because you've been on this television bit before. Didn't you get involved with 3 in a bed, or was it 4 in a bed? How many in a bed when you were doing it?
We were 4 in a bed when we did it.
Oh, you were 4?
We were, yes.
And you were set up, weren't you?
We were a bit, yes.
It looked set up to me.
Well, we went round these other hotels, and there was one other hotel couple, and they just didn't like me and Mum.
No, they did. It showed on the
I
tape
know.
right
I
there.
don't know why.
But they were fixing it too, weren't they? For the scoring and the marking.
They were.
And,
Oh yeah, it was all rigged, so we lost.
Yeah, but it was good fun.
It was good fun.
And what is remarkable is they're making phenomenal mileage out of those, because they just keep running them.
Every time they repeat it, my mum gets bookings. It's brilliant.
Keep it coming, guys. Okay. Now, really, who are you, Ruth?
Well,
how long have you been here? When did you move?
My mum bought this hotel when I was 16, so that's when I came here. So I was at Chantry in Ipswich.
So you were fully formed.
Yes,
when
I was.
You got here, really.
Yes, I mean we lived in Ipswich, so we did used to come for
Felix.
weekends.
Yeah.
Knew it, but they moved here,
right.
And because I was 16, it was a difficult time to move.
Oh yeah, not good.
You know,
your support friends and what you do.
Exactly. So I didn't really like it at the time. I was going every day back to school, to sixth form.
Right.
And it was only later, when I got a Saturday job at the Wimpy, started to meet people, that I started to think this was home.
Good.
And now I'm 44.
Don't even go there.
I know, and I don't want to, I love it. So
that's my RAF entry number, 44.
Is it?
Yeah. Amazing. Anyway, so you came here, you're at sixth form. Where did you go from sixth form?
So I went to Warwick University.
Oh, nice up there.
Beautiful.
Yeah, lovely part of the country.
Yeah, of course, Warwick University is not in Warwick.
No, it's
not. I went for the interview. Yes,
yeah,
I went to Warwick Castle.
On the ring road.
Said, where's the university? And they said, you're miles away.
Yeah, you are. But it was a very high reputation.
Yeah, it was nice.
Good. So what did you read there?
English and drama.
Right. So you're dramatic.
Yes, I mean, there was a time when I wanted to be an actress.
Right.
But while I was there, somebody down here, my old youth worker, was doing work at Hoasley Bay. And he said, come and do some summer work, teaching drama at Hoasley. And after that, I knew.
That was it.
That was it.
That was really it.
I want to work in a prison.
So you made quite an unusual career choice, really, then.
Yes, I mean, I think at that point, I didn't even know what a probation officer was.
No.
But he said, I've got a friend who's a probation officer in Ipswich.
Right.
Arranged for us to meet. And when they told me what the job was, that was it. I never wanted to be an actress again.
So what were your thoughts, really? I mean, I assume a good probation officer can steer those who may have gone wrong at some point back into a much more productive and safe life, not only for them, but for us as well.
Yes.
So what was your motivation for becoming a probation officer?
I think to be a good probation officer, you have to be really, really nosy. And
I can believe that.
And be willing to ask questions and really probe.
Yes.
That's beyond politeness, And because originally we're from the north, we're from Hull, and my mum's very good at getting information from people and chatting. So I was brought up with the idea that you speak to people and you ask questions. And I think I was just really curious about why people commit crime, what makes them tick. So I'll ask questions, and it's only afterwards I might think, they might not have liked that. But as a probation officer, that's great.
So you could have been Paxman's replacement, right?
Exactly.
With a little bit of
just
a bit. Get right in there.
Get right in there.
Because you've got to, haven't you? And you've got to keep asking.
Yes, exactly.
Really, and find out. So you did uni, you came down, one would assume there was a training course for over a period of time.
Well, at that time you had to have experience to get onto the masters.
Yeah.
So I worked in Ipswich with SACRO, who work with criminals, and they help them get benefits advice and job interview skills.
Right.
I did that for a year, and then I went to UEA and did the masters in probation studies.
Right. So that was at Norwich.
At Norwich. Right. But my big first placement, Norwich Prison.
Ideal.
Then I went to Colchester probation, and then they sent me here.
Did that? Oh, could be better. Could it?
Well, actually, I didn't. I was like, look, I live in Felixstowe. Send me somewhere else.
Yeah. Oh, right.
But I was above. Do you know where tourist information was?
Don't even mention that.
I know.
There's no disappearing.
I know, it's so sad. Well, I had the office above.
Oh,
Court
right.
was next door.
Oh,
and I used to be able to look at the sea with interviewing the clients.
Yeah, glorious. Absolutely glorious.
It was brilliant.
And what sort of success did you feel that you achieved as a probation officer? Or did the system grind you down?
That's a good question. I mean, because you don't always know. You don't see people after you finish with them.
No.
But I remember one guy I worked with.
Mm.
He'd been convicted of rape, but was saying he was innocent. And I worked with him for a long time.
Yeah.
And then his next probation officer contacted me about a year later and said he's finally admitted.
He did.
Not just what he'd been convicted of, but that he'd been raping a lot. And he said it was talking to me that made him realise.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's true or not, but he said that.
Right.
And so there's a few cases that you hear of like that,
Right.
and you think maybe that made the difference.
Good. No, I mean, if there are ladies walking out there unmolested, then that's a great achievement, isn't it?
Well, yeah,
So then, following all of that, in your experience, when did you actually start writing, or you've always been a writer?
Well, because I did English,
Yeah,
so I was always good at reading. I think to be a good writer, you've got to be a good reader.
Yeah.
And I've always written short stories and wrote, but never thought I'd be a writer.
Right.
But it was when I was really at Hoseley Bay that I used to get the criminals I was working with to write letters to their victim and to write their life stories. I used to do a lot of.
Yes.
Let's talk
Quite
about.
disturbed.
Yes, but getting them to write it through.
Yeah.
And then because it was getting in my head and disturbing me a bit, I used to write it into short stories.
Oh, right.
So
for them, was that cathartic for them?
Yes, I think
Helped
so.
on the recovery?
Yeah, and got them to think about it.
Or I did this. Rather, because one would assume there's a lot of in denial about the whole
Definitely.
thing.
A lot of them came in saying, I'm innocent.
Yeah.
And I used to say, look, I can't work with you if you're saying you're innocent. As far as I'm concerned, you're not innocent.
No, that's why
You've been convicted, that's why you're here.
Yeah.
And actually, the first step you need to take is to say, I did it. And then we can start
And then get
working.
on with the rest of your life.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I remember one boy said, okay, yeah, I did do it. And they were there for murder.
Yeah.
And his parents came in, and I'd been working with this boy for a few months.
Yeah.
And they were like, you've made him say that. He's innocent. And he immediately backpedaled and said, oh, yes.
Well, that's his family support network, isn't it?
It was shocking. So all the work I'd done had just collapsed. So then so there's things like that, setbacks. But I used to use the writing and the acting. I used to get them to reenact their crime. I used to do all, because there was nobody was telling me how to work with these kids.
Were they not?
There was no manual.
No.
So I was just trying things.
Right.
And seeing what worked.
So was Christine Block there when you were there?
Yes, she was.
Was she?
Yes, I worked with her for a whole summer doing sort of this kind of drama work.
Did she? Yeah, she'd like that.
Yes.
She'd be good at that, I would have thought.
That was back when I was training at UEA. I did a summer with her.
Brilliant. Anyway, she's still around.
Brilliant.
Very busy.
Yes.
She's been working very deeply on the Deben River Partnership, trying to get cooperation to, and she's good at that, getting people to work together. Yeah. Okay, so at what point then did you sort of think some of this might be publishable? Or didn't it happen that way?
No, I wrote my first novel for me as a hobby, and I entered a competition. I just saw a competition advertised for a new novel, and the prize was a little print run, and I just entered it thinking, that'd be interesting.
Yes.
And I won.
Did you?
And got a print run of 60. This is for the James version.
All right.
So I went and had a little launch in Magpie Books.
Oh, I loved Magpie.
Oh, amazing place.
Yeah, they were lovely folk. Very supportive.
Stephanie, who had it, and we sold the books.
Right.
And so I got another print run of perhaps 200. Sold them at Treasure Chest. Went into Ipswich.
Oh right.
So just a little bit of it, but it was
just
a self-published
book. It was
a taster.
Yeah.
But people who read it said, "Oh, we quite like this."
Right.
So that was my first step.
So did you establish your key character in that?
No, that's a very different book. It's historical.
It's a standalone.
Standalone. Right. It's about Mariah Martin and the Red Barn, and it's historical fiction.
Yeah.
And I thought, well, that's that. I've got that on my system.
Right.
And then when I was on my maternity leave, I wrote The Woman Before Me.
Right.
And I entered that for a competition, and when that won the debut dagger, that was the point.
You were off.
I was off because my agent, I signed with an agent.
Did you really?
And
and is she local or national?
They're all in London.
Oh,
they're all very similar agents. They're all in London. They're all women. They're all really posh.
Are they really?
You know, they all have loads of scars.
Absolutely.
Oh, darling, it's the most marvellous book I've ever read.
But their contacts are brilliant.
They know everybody.
Is their advice good?
I mean, for me...
Structuring it or not?
It depends on your agent. I mean, I think for me, they're all a bit too similar, to be honest. And if you're trying to write something about...
Quirky,
or, you know, a bit, what do you want to say, blue collar, or, you know, they're from a different world.
Yes,
and sometimes you're talking to them and you think, they just don't get what I'm writing about.
Right.
They're too used to their environment.
But the point being, the folk who do and live there and work there, that if you're not true to that, then it'll become hollow, won't it? It needs to be true to itself.
It does, and sometimes they try and steer you. For me, my problem...
Sort of cosmetic it.
They try and soften me, and, you know, Ruth, you can't say that, you can't do that. They're always trying, I feel, the agents always want to pull it back a bit.
Take off the edges.
Take off the edges.
Yeah.
And,
I mean, it's a bit like when Disney does a Brother Grimm story tale, which was actually horrifying kind of stuff, and sort of you want it warts and all, really.
I think so.
Particularly the type of stuff you're doing.
The type of stuff I do, and as somebody who asks lots of questions,
absolutely,
I want the answers in the book.
Yeah.
I don't want them toned down.
No.
So, but you know, it's part of the process. You have to have this agent in Richmond Hill. So.
Okay, so this was the first.
Yes.
And this actually, you say it kicked off with an 1851, another connect. That's when the house I live in, Walton cum Felixstowe National School, was built.
Really?
By Lord Hamilton. So isn't that?
Yes.
So you can have that one.
Thank
and
you.
I'll pull out the next.
Yes.
The Woman Before Me, which I have read, and it was exciting. But basically, encapsulate the plot.
So it's a woman who, the night she gives birth, she meets another woman in the hospital. Both women have difficult labours, and Rose, her baby, dies. She becomes obsessed with the other woman and the other woman's baby.
Right.
And it's about the friendship that develops. And at the beginning of the novel, we know that Rose is in prison for killing the other woman's baby. But she says she's innocent.
Oh, right.
So it's about lots of twists.
So this wasn't based on your own experience in hospital, hopefully? Because your kids look quite healthy.
Yes, yes. It was really based on my mum's experience in hospital. When she had me, the woman in the next hospital bed said, I know you, I've seen photos.
Oh, right.
You used to go out with my my husband Jerry. And so my mum said it was really awkward and really tricky.
Yeah, I would think it must have been.
Yes.
Yes, quite.
So that is the idea, that actually these women have this connection.
Oh, right.
That they've been with this same man.
Okay.
So it's kind of inspired by that, and also I used to work with females who were stalkers. You know, it's obsessive love and jealousy.
I've been lucky, I've avoided that.
Have you?
Yes, today.
I'm surprised.
Have another. Now this actually was your, when did you publish this?
2011.
Oh, you've had quite a gap.
I have had a gap.
But then you've been in foreign climes, we'll come on to that, won't we? Now this introduced who?
So this is based on a real case as well. This is about a woman who at the beginning of the book, she has assisted her lover to die. It's assisted suicide. So she says, I've done nothing wrong, he wanted to die.
That's a big subject.
Big subject.
And it needs more debate than
and it's illegal, of course.
No.
So she's being convicted, about to be sentenced, but she says, I've done nothing wrong. So it's about the whys and wherefores of what she did.
Right.
And it's based on a real case, of course.
Oh, good, yes.
And it's set in Lavenham.
Lovely.
So
nice place, Lavenham.
Yes, all Suffolk books.
Yes, I love it. Now this is the new entry. And are you now going to establish a character and run the character through, or are you still thinking that through?
Well, my probation officer, Kate Austin, is in The Woman Before Me, The Sacrificial Man, and this is her next case.
So she is sort of becoming the link and the thread through which hopefully it will run.
Yes, she's the link.
Good.
Yeah.
Okay. So this was published when?
April the 1st.
Good date.
A good date.
It
Yes,
was after
April Fool's
12.
Day.
It was after 12.
Yes.
I take it. So, they're not going to say, we're going to withdraw this now.
Yes,
and
it was all a
disappear.
joke. Yeah.
Now, the Humber Boy Bee is quite an... you could almost make a song out of that, couldn't you? You know,
yeah.
you could imagine it being a country western type bit, can't you? And the Humber Bridge is quite a spectacular bit of engineering up there. So the basis of this is...
So Humber Boy B is 10 years old when he throws another boy off the Humber Bridge in Hull
Dear me.
to his death.
Right.
The novel is set 8 years later when Humber Boy B is released with a new identity into Ipswich. And can Kate Austen keep him secret, keep his past secret?
That's very difficult, isn't it? Going by real experiences, you know, the Jamie Ollitt and all of those.
The Jamie Bulger case, they found.
They were exposed.
Yes, and there's a Facebook page
damaging.
trying to find those boys. Keeps getting taken down, then it comes up again. And using Facebook, the victim's mother is trying to find Humber Boy B.
Oh,
she wants to find him. She wants to have justice. She doesn't think he should be released.
Right. So is she looking to take the law into her own hands?
We don't know quite what
leave the reader to find.
We don't know what she plans, but she wants to find him.
You know, if you look at the Moors murderers, I mean, didn't even know where they were. That was awful.
Oh yes.
Terrible.
Trying to find Keith's body. Yeah.
Now,
terrible.
we should be able to have another one, shouldn't we? Because I understand, as a result of how things panned out, you're releasing 2 in a year. Is this right?
So yes. So this is the first of this year.
Right.
In October, Nowhere Girl will be released.
Oh, that'll go with the boy. I like this.
Yes. Well, that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. Well, you weren't really. It happened that way.
Yeah, it happened that way. It happened that way. And it's about a girl in Luxembourg, a teenage girl, British, who goes missing at the annual fair.
Oh, right.
And my probation officer, Kate, is in Luxembourg.
As happens to be.
Happens to be.
Well, that's interesting. Now, where are you living now, Ruth?
So I am actually in Luxembourg.
No. Hopefully setting up your tax avoidance vast bank deposit schemes into the future.
No, funnily enough, I'm doing my tax today. I'm going to Ipswich to see my accountant.
Oh, right.
No, I'm all British. Yeah, I'm proper. Well, I'm not really even an expat. I do all my tax through Britain. So.
You're right. Fair enough.
Yes.
So you're not a non-dom.
No benefits for me. No.
Okay, so you've been living in Luxembourg now for how long?
1 year and 3 months.
And initially it was a bit quirky, a bit different, and now?
Yes. I've settled in.
Good.
And it is beautiful.
It is, yeah.
Yes, yeah. I mean, it's a walled city and lots of history and very close to France, Germany, Belgium.
Yeah.
So it's great for travel. It's very expensive.
Well,
it's shocking.
I think you know, sort of certainly the tax havens, they attract that type of funding.
Bankers
and it's the whole bit. And you've got all of these little hotspots through Europe, haven't you? Sort of off down to Monaco and wherever. But no, that's lovely. But you're able, obviously, to integrate that into a new story.
Yes.
So you're doing a bit of whatever, and that's grand, isn't it? And I understand because you said off camera that you're off into Berlin.
I'm going tomorrow.
And exploring what it may have been perhaps in the 30s, pre-Adolf coming and closing down some of the very risque clubs, I understand, were there.
That's why
I saw a couple in Hamburg, but I was with the local priest, so I didn't see too much. It was, I mean, the figure I remember is 30 Deutschmarks virtually for everything, but it was an interesting time. Now, so how long are you going to be there? When are you coming back?
I'm just going there for 3 nights, enough to see some cabaret.
Oh, it's phenomenal. There's a lot of energy in Berlin, apparently.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it.
Because they've got housing, and I think that when the wall came down, a lot of young folk just went there and took over buildings, and so they've got a lot of young folk attracted from all over Europe who went there. Yeah. So that would make good sort of stories.
Well, that's what I'm thinking.
Because you've got a very international community living there.
I'll have my notebook.
Oh, well, take the camera.
Yeah.
And then you'll be away. So you were very much instrumental in the Felixstowe Book Festival. Is this right?
Well, Meg very kindly...
Meg really sung your praises, didn't she?
She said that. I mean, she did come and speak. We met for a coffee when she was thinking of it. Yeah. And I said, you must do it. You really must do it. Yeah. But she is amazing. The authors she has got in.
I know, they're good.
Oh, I mean, the number of events.
Yeah.
You know, you have to get a highlighter pen and do your timetable because
Well,
there's three things at one time.
You can't get to see it all. And hopefully
You can't see it
we're
all.
hoping that in cooperation with Mag, yourself and whoever, we may be able to cover some of those events.
That would be
you know,
great.
and whatever, and do it before.
There's
Once
gonna be
we know
some
what
good
the
ones.
programme is, we can do
Yeah.
a little bit. So, we'll see you back on these shores at some point in the future?
For the book festival?
No, for forever. Or are you staying in Luxembourg or going on to more exotic places?
No, we'll be back. I mean, we think we'll be back in a year for good.
Right, okay.
And I will never be sorry to be back in Felixstowe.
No, it's got a lot for it, going forward.
Absolutely.
And we should have more. You know, and things like the book festivals and
Yes.
art on the prom, and we really need to widen that, don't we? Have
Oh,
a
and
bigger
the
choice and
gardens.
not.
I mean, it's looking great.
When they get done.
But the bench, I went to see that new bench.
Yes.
And I thought that was beautiful.
Good.
Yeah,
Good.
it's all good.
Well, what I thought was, you know, they're doing a big sort of pavilion at the top, and I was hoping they would have used the design for the Edwardian shelters. You know, the one that do. I thought they might have utilised that and did a bigger bit, but it's going to be wood. It's not now going to be massive of concrete, so
Yes.
that will be better.
Yes.
But our camera lady here is getting around all over town, getting stuff, and we leave you to go up to Walton to commemorate the Neolithic period that was Walton, and it's one of the oldest settlements, certainly in the east of England, if not of Suffolk. I mean, there's, you knew that there were some Beaker people up there, didn't you?
Oh, no, I didn't.
Some burial sites.
Wow.
So I'm doing a study on that. So when I finish, you can utilise that and base the story on the Beaker people.
That sounds fantastic.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Ruth. Lovely to
Thank
see
you, Mike.
Nice
Yes.
to see you back here.
Thanks.
And this is looking lovely. I don't know whether we're going to do a little bit of the guest house in sort of response to 3 or even 4 in a bed. But it's lovely, and your family keeps it very well indeed.
Thank
So
you.
on that high note, goodbye from Walton. Though we're not Walton, we're Felixstowe. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.